Miss Jordan at RPC, and we are in a brand new month. It's September. Can you believe how quickly August went by? I can't believe it. And in September, we're talking about a brand new word, and our word this month is friendship. Friendship's really important, not only to be a good friend, but to have good friends. And the cool thing about friendship is that we get to pick who we're friends with, right? Sometimes you meet new friends at school, or maybe you're on a sports team and you make friends that way. Or maybe you make friends that live on your street in your neighborhood. Maybe even you have friends that are part of your family, and all of that is awesome. Friendship is caring about other people and putting them first. Your thoughts and your actions show them that you care. And that's really, really special to be able to give that gift to someone else, to be a good friend. So I wanted to show you some ways that I have made friends in my life. So God gave me two sisters. They're my friends. This is Lindsay and this is Kaylin. And then I have friends that are outside of my family too. This is my best friend. Her name is Melina. She is one of my really great friends that I met in 6th grade. I'm still friends with her today. And here's another way that I made friends. I said that you could be on sports teams. Look, these are the people that I did drill team with, and drill team is when you dance together. So there's people that play football and do gymnastics and do soccer and do choir and are in band, and all of those are great ways to make friends. Now, how do you know when someone's your friend? How can you tell? There's lots of ways by the way that they talk to you and the way that they treat you that show them that you're being a good friend. When we're kind, when we're respectful, when we're loving, when we're thoughtful, when we put what they need and what they want before what we need and what we want, we're being a good friend. So in our story today, we're in the book of Ecclesiastes, and there's someone really important. His name is Solomon. And Solomon is telling us about what it means to be a good friend. He's giving us examples of what it means to be a good friend. And he's this really special guy because he's the son of someone named King David. And when Solomon, it was his turn to take over being the king of Israel, he was given a gift by God to be able to ask for anything that he wanted. And he asked for wisdom. So he used that wisdom to make good choices, to be a good leader, and to be able to take care of the people that he was in charge of. So in Ecclesiastes, take a look at our video. It's really, really cool to hear how God used Solomon, and Solomon used this gift of wisdom to be a good friend. Check it out.
The Bible. It's 66 books of history, stories, letters, and poetry that fit together to form God's one big story. The epic adventure of how He created us and loves us so much that He made a way to rescue us. As we travel through the Bible, from Genesis to Revelation, we discover people who met God and found their lives changed forever. Now, for an amazing story, inspired by the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 4, verses 9 through 12.
The writer of Ecclesiastes tells us two people are better than one. They can help each other in everything they do. Suppose either of them falls down, then the one can help the other one up. But suppose a person falls down and doesn't have anyone to help them up. Then feel sorry for that person. One person could be overpowered, but two people can stand up for themselves. And a rope made with 3 cords isn't easily broken. Let's see how this might play out in someone's life today. Jackson slid into the small school theater and took a seat in the back row and waited for Mr. Ray, the music and arts teacher. It looked like there was only one other kid who showed up to build the set for the 5th grade production of Charlotte's Web. Amal from Mrs. Wiseman's class. Hey.
Hi.
The two boys sat there in awkward silence until Mr. Ray showed up.
Ah, my set team. Fantastic. You guys know each other?
Kinda.
Different classes.
Well, you're gonna get to spend a lot of time together in the next 2 weeks as we build this set and get it painted. You guys got any experience with power tools?
Jackson could see Amal shift nervously in his seat.
No, I don't want to go on stage. Miss Wiseman said I could do this instead.
Don't worry, I'll teach you what you need to know. How about you, Jackson?
I'm pretty good with a hammer, and I didn't want to wear some silly animal costume.
The two boys basically ignored each other as Mr. Ray showed them how to measure each piece of lumber for him to cut, and then he helped them lay out the pieces in a large frame.
Now, this'll be one of the wall flats for the backdrop. We'll paint it as part of the barn. Amal, you want a hammer in these nails?
I guess.
I'll hold it more like this. Don't worry, you'll get it.
I'll do this side.
Jackson nailed together the entire flat while Amal still struggled with one corner.
What a klutz.
But it was a different story the next day when they started to paint.
This flat is part of our barn wall. I want you guys to paint a couple of chickens right there.
Amal grabbed a brush right away.
Oh, do you want them to look like real chickens or like cartoons?
Nah, just give them your own personal spin.
Amal got to work right away, creating an entire palette of colors while Jackson was still trying to figure out which brush to pick.
Now, I've got to run down to the art room. Amal, why don't you show Jackson how to get started?
I don't really...
Mr. Ray smiled at them both.
He needs a hand. I think you guys will make a great team.
Mr. Ray hurried out. Jackson and Amal avoided each other's eyes.
Well, I'll sketch an outline for the chickens.
What do I do?
Just, fill it in.
I'm not really an artist. Jackson dipped his brush randomly in the blue paint and frowned at Amal's outline.
Just have fun with it.
Jackson swiped the blue brush, outlining a wing.
I've never seen a blue chicken.
Oh.
It's great. It'll stand out.
Oh. Thanks. By the time Mr. Ray returned, Jackson was surprised to discover that he and Amal had already painted 5 brilliant hued chickens. Mr. Ray grinned.
I've never seen a more flamboyant flock.
Jackson held out his fist to Amal, and Amal, surprised, gave him a fist bump.
Yep, see you boys tomorrow.
The next day, Amal showed up with a bruised finger on his left hand.
I can still paint with my right.
What happened?
Mr. Kunkel keeps putting me in as goalie during PE, and then I mess it up, and everyone on the team gets mad at me.
Do you stay on your toes? Keep your eye on the ball?
No. I just panic when the ball comes at me.
Look, I can show you some tips later in the parking lot, before my mom comes.
Really? That would be great.
And Jackson turned out to be a pretty good teacher because Amal managed to get 2 blocks during PE the next day. And when Jackson showed up to paint sets, stressed out by a math test, Amal grabbed his textbook.
Fractions?
I see all these weird numbers and I freeze up.
You just have to break it down like this.
With Amal's help, Jackson managed to stay calm during his test the next day. And by the middle of the next week, they had completed the entire backdrop for Charlotte's Web.
Well done. I knew you two would make a great team.
Amal's pretty okay.
Jackson's not too terrible.
Look, I know you guys are really different from each other, but it's boring if all your friends are just like you.
Together, they started gathering wood scraps and wiping off brushes.
Seriously, one of the wisest men to ever live pointed this out. Solomon.
Solomon?
Yep. He's this king in the Bible. He was a builder and an artist and super rich too. But for all the things he had, you know what he valued most? Friendship. He says it like this: 2 people are better than 1. They can help each other in everything they do.
On point.
Yeah.
Amal held out his fist, and Jackson tapped it with his own. Maybe Solomon and Mr. Ray were onto something.
Okay, so in Ecclesiastes, we're reminded that 2 people are better than 1. Having a friend is better than being alone. God made us to be together, to love one another, to work together, and to help one another. And so our memory verse this month for all of September is going to be from the book of Proverbs, and it's also about how to be a good friend and loving your neighbor. So here's how it starts. We're going to make a heart with our hands. A friend loves at all times. They are there to help when trouble comes. Hold your hands out like a Bible. Proverbs chapter 17, verse 17. Okay, it's brand new, I know. So let's try it again. We'll go a little bit slower. Make a heart with your hands. A friend loves, I see you, at all times. They are there to help when trouble comes. Proverbs chapter 17, verse 17. Perfect. Remember, a memory verse is a way for us to take a piece of the Bible, which is all true and written for me and for you, and keep it in our hearts and our minds wherever we are. The Bible's always there. We can have a physical Bible where we're holding it and reading it. There's a Bible app that's on your phone or your iPad. There's lots of ways for us to get to God's Word. And when we take little parts of it and we keep it with us wherever we go, it helps us to make good choices. It gives us wisdom. So that memory verse is what we're going to be practicing for the next couple weeks. It'd be a great idea to write it down, practice it, put it on the mirror in your bathroom, set it on your nightstand next to your bed, put it somewhere where you're going to see it a lot. And I promise you, if you keep practicing, you'll memorize it in no time. So here's the other thing I want to say to you. I know school has started recently. It's been a couple weeks for most of us, and sometimes school this year is different. It's tricky, right? Some of us are going in person and we get to see our teacher and some of our friends, but it still doesn't feel quite the same. Some of us are learning at home and we're spending a lot of time on Zoom meetings and looking at our friends and our teachers through the computer screen. Here's the thing. No matter how school looks for you right now, you can still be a good friend and you can make new friends. I promise. I know you can. So I want you right now to go get something that has to do with school that's going to be your reminder of being a good friend when it's time to do school stuff. This could be your pencil that you always use, your backpack, your folder, your planner. It can be anything that has to do with school, but I want you to go get it right now. I'm gonna give you 10 seconds, and then I want you to take a picture with that thing and post it in the comments below. One lucky winner is gonna get pizza delivered to their house this week, so you don't wanna miss out. Okay, I'm gonna count 10 seconds. Ready, set, go. 1, 2, 3, hurry. 4, halfway there, 5, keep going, 6, 7, 8, 9, you're back, 10. Perfect. Okay, I want to see what that item is. Remember, the point of this is that whenever you see that thing throughout this week, I want it to remind you that you have a chance every day to be a good friend and to have good friends on your team because you chose wisely. All right, it's time for worship, friends. Let's get our bodies up, our arms out. It's time to sing. Here we go.
I'm closer to you, but I feel like I'm so far away. 'Cause I let my fear get in front of my faith. I'm back and forth like a wave in the wind. But I hear your voice and it's pulling me in. It's pulling me in. I wanna walk on water, take the leap, and step out knowing you will let me sink. I wanna trust you deeper, live like believing that you are everything you say you are. 'Cause you're everything you say you are. Everything you say you are.
I prayed for your proof and I've asked you to give me a sign. But you already did and you traded your life for mine.
You called my name through the rain and the wind. I hear your voice and it's pulling me in. You're pulling me in. I wanna walk on water, take the leap, and step out knowing you won't let me sink. I wanna trust you deeper, live like believing that you are everything you say you are. 'Cause you're everything you say you are. Everything you say you are. You're the start and the ending. You're the reason for living. You're the beat in every heart. You're everything you say you are.
I wanna walk on water, take the leap, step out knowing you won't let me sink. Trust you deeper, keep believing that you are.
I wanna walk on water, take the leap, and step out knowing you won't let me sink. I wanna trust you deeper, live like believing that you are everything you say you are. 'Cause it's everything you say you are. You're the reason you say you are. You're the beat in every heart. You're everything you say you are.
right, you guys, I had a great time with you at church today. I know this week we're all going to work together to remind each other to be a good friend and to choose our friends wisely. The Bible tells us that that's really important and that we're better together than we are alone. Before we leave today, we have a discussion question. I want to tell you about something exciting coming up at the beginning of October. We have a baptism on October 3rd and October 4th. So I want to tell you what it means to get baptized, and if that's something that you want to do, how you can take those next steps, and we're going to close in prayer. So your discussion question today is a great thing to talk about with mom or dad, a grown-up in your house, maybe a brother or sister. Sit down with them for just a couple minutes, and I want you to talk about this. What does it mean to be a good friend? I know that even before we talked about this today, you already had some ideas about what a good friend looks like. How do they treat you? How do they make you feel? And how have you been a good friend to someone else? So sit down with someone, talk about that, share with them your story, listen to theirs, and I promise we could probably learn something from each other. Now, baptism that I told you is coming up in just a couple weeks on October 3rd and October 4th is really exciting because in the Bible, Jesus tells us that when we believe, when we've invited him to live in our heart and we choose to follow him in his word, to be baptized. So that is a step of obedience as a Christian, and obedience means to follow instructions. In the Bible, the instruction is to get baptized when you believe. And so if you have decided to invite Jesus into your heart, that you want to follow him, that you love him, that you believe that he died on the cross to pay the price for all of our bad choices so that we can live forever in heaven with him, the next step in our faith is to be baptized. And getting baptized is a symbol, right? It represents something. And so in baptism, you get into a pool of water and you go back in the water for just a second and you come back up, and that represents all of your sin being washed away because Jesus has already paid the price for the bad choices that you and I are gonna make. We're not perfect. We're humans, and Jesus knew that. And so he came to earth, he lived here, he walked among us, and he died on the cross and rose again so that we could spend forever in heaven with him. If you believe that, this is a great time to get baptized. So you can talk to mom and dad about that. You can send Miss Jordan an email at jordanw@rpc.me. You can reach out to us on social media. There's lots of different ways to get connected, and you can also visit the website to find out more information there. So this is a great time to talk to mom and dad if that is something that you have questions about or if you're interested in. All right, friends, let's close in prayer today. Let's fold our hands and bow our heads. Dear God, thank you so much for being a God that we can trust, for giving us friends so that we can do life together with people and not alone. Help us this week to be a good friend and to love others. We love you. Amen. Bye.
What's up, brand new fourth graders? I am so excited to finally meet you. My name is Miss Anna, and I'm so excited that y'all are gonna come hang out in the big tent with me and all of our brand new fifth graders as soon as we come back together, which is gonna be awesome. I wanted to let you guys know what we're gonna do in the big tent. We're gonna worship, we're gonna play games, we're gonna hang out, we're gonna meet small group leaders, we're gonna eat lots of great food like cookies and donuts and popcorn, and it's awesome, and I love having you guys there. A weird fact or a fun thing that I can do is I can touch my nose with my tongue. You want to see? See? Lots of weird things, lots of fun stuff that we can do in the big tent. I can't wait to meet you guys. I can't wait to see you so soon. Bye!